specific relative to your on ice activities that you feel are sort of go to things that you would want to do or expose your team to?
Yeah, for me, Wally, the priority has always been the defensive zone, and specifically recovery of that puck and getting out of our defensive zone as quickly as possible, because I think there's not as much time spent on that because everybody wants to score goals, and you go to a practice and you see 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, just practice over and over and over again. Which obviously there's value to that, but kind of to your point earlier when we were talking, there's two pieces of that. One thing, you want to be able to create as many of those as possible, and that will likely come from your ability to be good in your defensive zone and recover pucks and be able to move them to potentially create those 3-on-2s, those 2-on-1s, whatever those scoring opportunities may be, scoring off the rush, as opposed to getting a puck, coming up, and then having just a whole bunch of players in front of you where you have no options other than to dump a puck and then try to grind that out. And I hate that. I hate the fact that I have a puck and then we get rid of it and then we want to go back and get it again. That's crazy to me. I think the game has changed so much. And then the other piece is, like you were talking earlier, and I think Jordan was talking about it, when you have those 2-on-1s, those 3-on-2s, and was Tom to make some specific points. What happens after that, right? Because I come in on a 3-on-2, I still have a man advantage at that point. I shoot and I don't score. How often do I recover that puck to create another offensive attack, since I already have a man advantage in there? I think working on that specifically is huge, because you're not going to score on every 2-on-1, or especially even on a 3-on-2, you're not going to score on every one. So after you do, can I recover that puck and be able to reattack? So I think those two skills for me are really, really important, because I think those are difference makers.
Peter,
I
I'm
think
not.
what you just said there, Peter, is because I go and watch so many practices, and that's the last couple of years. That's happening in a lot of practices. On a 3-on-2, they let them go after the puck and get it again for another chance, where before you just got out of the way because there's another 3-on-2 flying in behind you.
Yeah,
So,
like why would makes perfect sense, Tom, right? Like, why wouldn't you let that play out? Because in a game after that 3-on-2, you don't leave, right? You don't leave,
exactly.
and you don't get guys coming to 3-on-2. Like, the game is still being played. Let's play that out.
Well, what happens is you got to change from teaching drills to teaching hockey,
Yeah.
and, sometimes people want that flow going boom, 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 but it doesn't really.
It makes your practice looks great. Like, your practice looks awesome. It's flowing. People are moving. But what are you accomplishing? To your point, like, what are you accomplishing? Because that's not really teaching hockey. And you see, here anyway, I see that so much at the youth level. It seems like there's such an emphasis on getting the drill right instead of learning hockey. Like, you put that perfectly.
And a drill-based practice, all the research done, and I've done it myself. Take a clock, stopwatch, watch one player. Drill-based practice. One player will move between 8 and 11 minutes and stand there, all the rest of the time, either listen to coach babble on or waiting in line, or, all the different things. So it's not, there's a place for drills, but that can't be the only thing you do in practice.
No, and if you're creative too, right? You can start when you have the advantage, like at the college level, when you have the advantage of having, all the ice to work with. You can start a 3-on-2. As soon as that first wave passes the red line, you could jump out 2D, throw a puck, start it the other way. So, you could get 10 people involved pretty quickly. if you're creative with your drills.
Yeah.
They
And
should
that,
finish it before it goes the other way for sure.
well, yeah,
And
I
I
mean,
see
it
that
plays.
more and more now in
Yeah,
practices.
and yeah, 100%.
I just want to mention, you guys, Hockey Alberta for the past 10 years addressed that with all their coaches. Uh, in any deliberate drill where you finish with a shot, you sustain, get a second puck, and have a second opportunity. And when Jordan began this talk, he talked about Mike Johnson presenting at the coaches' site on this concept of having your eyes up and executing more options after the first direct attack option that you deliberately practiced. So kudos, every drill ending with a shot should have a second shot based on some low zone offense opportunity with support. Now, Tom, I'm thinking back to your first year I worked with you at U13 and what the biggest payoff I've ever seen in my life with any team at any level, and that was pass completion. I mean, when a team can make 11 passes in a row in one shift at U13, their eyes are up, they're supporting the puck, they're going to execute sustained possession, and they did. And I think the statistic of that in a game adds value to the importance of possession and using each other and seeing the ice and supporting each other. So, Tom, the three aspects of the game that you talked about, you either have it, you don't, or you're fighting for it. And your idea here, when you have it, is doing something constructive with it, not just finishing with a shot and giving up, but getting it back and continuing to attack. So, if I was to add anything, it would be the consciousness of what you just said, Peter, is and follow up every single shot drill with a second offensive opportunity with a purpose. And of course, you can play all kinds of small area games to add to that. But I think if people do deliberate drills, and they all do, just don't finish them with that direct attack, go to the second aspect. And when you translate it into games, the possession and passing stat, and Jordan added consecutive passes. In other words, if you did two in a row, instead of putting a slanted line for one, you would put the number 2 or 3 in a row, because if you can make 2 or 3 passes in a row, you're going to have a scoring chance. So I think all of this has really been good for coaches, but guys, we've been at it a long time in our lifetime, and we're still trying to get it. And I think we have to appreciate coaches that are coming up the ladder that have coached only for 5 years or 7 years with their kids growing up. They're pretty darn good at doing the deliberate things, but the kind of details of building, sustaining possession, eyes up, puck control, battling and competing, they can all get better at. And hopefully some of this presentation will be food for thought for